I'm Mike Kazar. I'm chairman of the 66 Student Recognition Luncheon. I'd like to welcome all the students, educators, Kiwanis members, and guests to our 66 Recognition Luncheon. Let's do all stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Reverend Daniel Nikolic, who's chaplain here at Twin Towers, is going to do the invocation.
Let us pray. Mighty and most merciful God, we come to you today. We come with grateful hearts for all that you have blessed us with. We thank you, first of all, for the country that we live in with freedom of religion, and freedom to gather. Lord, we thank you for the Kiwanis Club. We thank you for that you had your hand upon this organization for many, many years and have been faithful to this organization. We thank you for that. And Lord, we also ask now your blessing upon our day as well as our meal. From the ground up, bless those hands that prepared it, the hands that will serve it, and those of us who will benefit from it. Bless it for the nourishment of our bodies and for the benefit of your kingdom. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Let's all sing God Bless America. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. First, I want to start out with a couple of introductions. We have one of the, I won't say founders, but instrumental individuals in putting this program together is Don Baimeshi. Don was with the Northside Kiwanis Club. The Northside Kiwanis Club ran student recognition for probably 63 years. Some of the history is in the back in your program as to how this event finally started, but I do want to recognize Don for all the work he had done to keep this program alive.
Thank you.
I'd also like to introduce Wayne Stein, who's going to be our next Lieutenant Governor for the 6th and 7th Division, and also Connie Potter, who is a past Lieutenant Governor of Sharonville. As I mentioned, there's a brief history of this event in the program, and it's an interesting program. It's been around a long time. It's now run by the clubs of the 6th and 7th Division, which encompass about 12 clubs, all within the boundaries of I-275 for the most part. Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to serving the children of the world, one community and one child at a time. Congratulations to all the students that are here. You were chosen to represent your school and the other students in your school at this luncheon. You've been, in the past, recognized by your school and community. The purpose of this event is to get more recognition throughout the greater Cincinnati area of your accomplishments. Besides your academic achievement, there's a common thread that I've seen in reading a lot of the bios, and that's not only are you good students, but you're involved in many, many activities outside of being just a good student. Many of you work, have jobs. Some of you are in student government. Some are sports activated. There's just a wide variety of different activities that you engage in, and that seems to be a common thread among students. It's not just academics, it's everything. Our speaker for today is Tara Stoffel, Warden. She's Assistant Vice Provost for Advising Academic Services and Strategic Partnerships at the University of Cincinnati. Tara specializes in strategic leadership and innovative program design for advising, enrollment management, and student success. Tara provides leadership consultation and strategic planning support to the university's 18 advising centers. She has advocated for and facilitated strategic investments in advising and student success over her last 19 years. If you sit down with her any length of time, you'll probably end up discussing your career goals and future. With that, I'd like to turn it over to Tara.
So, how tall were you the first time somebody asked you what you wanted to be when you grew up? Show me. How tall were you? All of you. I'm talking to the parents too, by the way. How tall were you? About this big, right? My father told me about 5 years ago that when I was just born, he was holding me in his arms in my nursery, bouncing me around, you know, doing that little thing that dads do when they're trying to soothe a baby, and looking down at me saying, I wonder what you're going to be when you grow up. And he looked at me and he said, now I know what you were going to be when you grow up. But I guarantee you that at that time he didn't look down at me and say, you're going to be an education administrator. We start asking that question of our children, of ourselves, from long before there's ever very much frame of reference to understand how to answer that question. And we see strengths and gifts and skills in the children that we raise and the people that we're becoming that are exciting. And we were just talking, my new friend, my former math professor at UC, we were just talking about my son who's 10 and loves math, absolutely loves it, and is speed solving Rubik's Cubes and looking for bigger, more complicated Rubik's Cubes. And I'm thinking, this is not my brain, this is his brain. I think he gets that one from his dad. It's interesting to watch what it is that we want to become. But I think that one of the things that I want you to know is that there are so many paths and so many options. Hopefully, you students, you high school students that are moving into your next path, I know the vast majority of you are heading into college. Some of you may be taking other paths, like my husband, who served many years in the Marines. But college and your next steps and your life path are going to be one of the most illuminating phases of your life. And some of that is because you have the chance to really, really spread your wings in a very new way. I often do the welcome for students and parents at freshman orientation. And I tell the students, and I'll tell you, one of the biggest differences between your life up to this point and the life that you're about to have is that up until now, there were many, many, many choices that were made for you. And the path that you're about to pursue includes many, many more choices that will be made by you. And that's exciting and it's terrifying. And there are going to be times when you think, I'm not sure what I'm good at. I'm not sure what I want. I'm not sure if this is right. But that's part of the experience that you're going to get to have. The most wonderful thing that I think you're going to get to experience in college, as I'm saying this and hearing it come out of my mouth, I'm thinking there's parties in the background, right? But one of the most wonderful things that you're going to get to experience in the next several years is discovery. We cannot possibly teach you in high school all of the different things that there are to discover. We cannot possibly expose you to everything you are suddenly going to get to start learning about and experiencing. How many of you in here went to college and changed your major at least one time? You see a lot of people in this room. I'm going to tell you that at the University of Cincinnati, we meet the national norms. The percentage of our freshmen that graduate in the same major they started in is 12%. People change because they grow, because they discover new passions, new interests, new skills. That does not mean that you won't be in the same major that you're thinking about right now, whether that is in architecture, whether that is in education, whether that's in nursing, philosophy. You very well may walk in the door and say, this is what I want. My aunt was one of those people, one of those very fortunate people who knew from the time that she was this big that she wanted to be a nurse. She went on to lead, she was the director of the Center for Nursing Research at the Medical College of Ohio when she retired. My uncle knew very, very early on, academics is not my path, but I absolutely want to join the Air Force and be an electronics specialist. He did that his whole career. But their path is not what happens with most people because you begin to discover things. How many of you changed majors more than one time, of those of you who raised your hands? Okay. I changed my major 4 times. In a very long time ago, in a very different figure, I started college as a ballet major because I was good at it at that time. I have to tell you, I tried paddleboarding with my son in Destin this past week, and I got all cocky because I was like, I've got balance. I used to be a ballet major. He did great. I did fine hopping up on the board. When I stood up, my feet went up in the air, my tailbone hit the board, and I sat on the board the rest of the time. I loved ballet, but I figured out pretty quickly I did not want that to be my path. I did not want to have a career that was going to end early in a body that was beaten up, and I wanted to make some money somehow that was, more than having to mix ketchup and hot water to make tomato soup, as so many dancers do in New York. And I realized that I really loved working with people. I loved helping people. How many careers do we expose kids to when people say, I want to help somebody, so I'd like to be a doctor? First answer. The majority of our students that come in as biology majors change their major, but it's because they came in wanting to be a doctor. It doesn't mean that a lot of them won't become a doctor. A lot of them will become physicians. But there are a limited number of things that we get exposed to prior to college and even during college. So some of that experience becomes expansive. You begin to see and understand things. I began to understand and learn. I loved social science. Absolutely adored psychology, biology, chemistry, sociology. I ended up graduating with my undergrad degree in interdisciplinary human studies, studying all 4 of those specialties. Mike, I earned almost a full minor in chemistry. I didn't finish the last 2 weeks of organic chem 2 because my brain didn't work with some of the spatial modeling, but I use that even now. Went on to complete a master's degree in counseling and student services because I figured out, I got lucky at the age of 19 and figured out I absolutely loved working with college students outside the classroom to make sure that they had what they needed, and we created the right environment for our students to be successful. We have a ton of students that come into college and begin to have an experience that enlightens them. When I changed from ballet to biology, I made a one-stop through political science first, because I first thought maybe I'll be an attorney, right? I want to help people. And again, our frame of reference for how many different ways you could do that was pretty narrow, and you begin to understand that there's so many more ways you can do that over time. When I started studying biology, I was super excited about it. I have to tell you, I took microbiology. I used to tell this story at orientation. I don't do this anymore. I took microbiology, and I was super, super excited because we got in microbiology lab, and we were, using contaminants, biological contaminants, right? We were taking Petri dishes and putting our gloved hands into Petri dishes and then going around the room shaking hands with about 3 other people to see how far you can spread a disease. And I was so excited. I came home, I was like, we got to create a pandemic today. I don't use that example at orientation anymore. But nobody looked at me as a dancer at 14 and said, you're going to get excited about biology. You're going to find that you love physical chemistry. You're going to learn about psychology. And the thing that's going to jazz you up the most is understanding how people think and how they thrive and how they excel in the world. Because we don't know all of that at that time, right? I want to tell you, there are so many gifts and skills and interests that are in you already that you may not have had a chance to experience yet. And some of you already know your path, and you are going to be on that path, and that is the path that's going to be right for you for a very long time. But all of these different interests and skills are going to be part of your life in some way. I still am a patron of the arts. I love watching ballet. When my husband wants me to stay next to him on the sofa instead of running off, he will intersperse his YouTube videos about something mechanical with a YouTube video about something dance-related. I understand more. The scientific process helps me understand more about how we look at the data and the science around how students perform. Right, the background that I had in that. So what I want to make sure that you understand is that we are all far more complicated than the choice of an individual major. No student is as one-dimensional as the choice of a single major. You've got lots of interests, lots of passions, lots of skills, and they're going to play out in a lot of different ways over the course of both your education and your life. Mike's got a great background in chemistry. He went into sales and had a very, very fulfilling career in sales. And there are reasons. Your why behind what you want to do is very, very important in how you choose your path. Now, there are many college majors out there that are very career specific, so they're very, very obvious. And there are many majors that are very, very career flexible too. So I want you to be aware of that. There are a lot of things you can learn. People are like, what can you do with a communications major? What can you do with an English major? If you want to go to law school, or if you want to write for the web, people think the only thing you can do with an English major is teach. There are a lot of things you can do as an English major, right? Are you smiling because you were an English major? I'm just wondering. There are so many things that you're going to be able to do, but your experiences in college are not just going to be disciplinary. Your experiences in college are going to be about beginning to build your future and create your life. A lot of times you'll hear, oh, you very well may meet your spouse or your partner in college. You may. And on the first day of freshman orientation, I have to tell you, you're going to be worried about whether or not you look cute. And that is one of my 2 favorite days on campus. My other very, very favorite day on campus is the day right before final exams, right before the very last day of final exams in your graduating year, your senior year. And you will not look cute that morning. You may not have showered that morning, but that is the moment where you are taking your last steps before completing your college education. And the only thing more expensive than going to college still is not going to college. I think that the things that we have to do as educational institutions to make sure that we're prepared for you are things that we've begun to take more and more and more seriously over the years. We used to talk all about, is the student college ready? We've started to talk more about, are we student ready? Are we doing what we need to do? Are we designing the environments the way that we need to design them to make sure that you get to experience everything that you are meant to without the barriers in the way that sometimes were not necessary? And we're working on that really hard for you across all of education across this country. So I'm very excited to tell you that. About half, if you study career development, as I did in my master's program, you'll learn that there's a concept called planned happenstance. And that is that about half of what's going to happen to you over the course of your career is based on your planning. That's only about half. The other half is based on happenstance. It's based on chance. It's based on who you happen to meet and the conversations that you happen to have. Some of that is based on your planning and your will and your initiative, and it's one of the reasons why you'll hear many people talk about how important networking is, and some of the parents in the room were like, yes, this is really important. The other thing that I'll share with you too is that mentoring is exceptionally important. With mentoring, you begin to understand more of what's possible for you that you might not have known otherwise. So seek mentors. There's some people will choose one mentor and that's their go-to person. I have multiple mentors. I'll tell you a funny story. The woman that hired me to move to Cincinnati 20 years ago, she's a super intelligent woman. She's a vice provost at UC now. She's a former CIA agent, and she was a Sovietologist until the fall of the Soviet Union. She thinks fast, she moves fast, she can come up with a $2 million grant proposal in 30 minutes at a table, and I spent my first year working for her just scribbling furious notes on a legal pad, right, every time I'd meet with her, and I'd leave exhausted. Super, super bright. Her brother is Urban Meyer, some of you might know from football circles. And I asked her one time, you know, Gigi, so you come from a seriously underperforming family. What was the secret to that? What happened in your household growing up that led to that? She said, well, our parents told us yes every single time they possibly could. And sometimes the answer is, no, that's not convenient for me right now, and that's logical. She said, and labs. We did a lot of labs. It makes a lot of sense how you groomed a football coach. But I do think that mentorship is really important, and making sure that you find the people that really are looking out for your best interest and that have something to teach you in addition to your parents. Those are going to be really important steps for you in college. There are so many supports that we wrap around students these days. There are many, many ways that we try to make sure that if you're starting to stumble, that we see that before you have to tell us in some regards, because sometimes a student will hit a wall and think, oh, this means this isn't for me, whether it's the academic program. I have to tell you, I would have finished that last 2 weeks of organic chemistry if I had known that Bruce Alt, our department chair of the chemistry department at UC, once told me in a meeting about 3 or 4 years ago, I mentioned to him about my organic chemistry issue, and the abstract spatial modeling is something my brain doesn't do as well. He's like, oh yeah, organic chemistry is hard for me too. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You're the chair of the chemistry department. He's like, oh yeah, but I like these parts of chemistry. The organic I leave to the other guys. And I thought, you know what, if I had known that even the chair of the chemistry department felt that way, maybe I'd have pushed through the last part of that class and not assumed that it just wasn't for me, right? Messaging is really important. And sometimes students will run into situations and read those things as messages that tell you you don't belong. Sometimes someone will tell you you don't belong in this program or this isn't right for you. Don't believe that. Don't listen to that message. There was a fantastic article in the New York Times a handful of years ago called Who Gets to Graduate? And you know what we learned from that research, and we've been working on that research ever since then, is a lot of a student's success in college starts not based on their academic preparedness, but what we tell them before they ever set foot in the first college classroom. And it's phenomenal how different the student's success outcomes are when we craft our messaging very, very carefully to help our students understand you can do this, you can succeed. How many of you in here were, and I'm talking to not the brand new soon-to-be grads here, but the rest of us, how many of you were in a situation where somebody in a college campus said, okay, glad you're here, look to the right, look to the left, only one of you is going to get to graduation? Right? Absolutely not. That is exactly how you tank student success and don't allow students to get to graduation that absolutely would have otherwise. So our job at this point is to make sure that we do everything that we can to help you understand what you can do and provide you that support. I guess one of the things I really want to make sure that you understand is, at the end of the day, part of what's going to be really important here is what lights you up. I ask our student orientation leaders, and Mike was one years ago, a student orientation leader, who are the students that will be assigned to you to welcome you through orientation at almost every college or university. I get to ask them about this, and literally their faces start to light up. This is what I love doing. This is what I enjoy. This is what I hope I get to do. And some of our students say, I'm not really sure yet. And what's really interesting is the ones that say, I'm not really sure yet, in many cases may get to graduation faster. That's going to be counterintuitive to you, but sometimes the ones who don't know yet are really, really open to figuring that out very early on. Sometimes the students that decide very early are in what we call foreclosure, because we've asked them over and over and over and over and over again, what are you going to study? What are you going to study? What are you going to study? Most popular question at a college party, hey, what's your major? Right? And we just expect everybody to know, but this process of discovery is going to be important, so it's okay to begin developing additional interests and beginning to understand and value that world around you and all of these things that you're going to have at your disposal. I am telling you this not just because I told you a minute ago it's good student success practice, but I am going to tell you I am ridiculously excited for all of you. I am so proud that you're being honored today. I'm excited that you get to be here with this community of people and the community of Kiwanis who've invested so much in education, and I want to give them a round of applause for just a moment to say thank you for all of their investment in that. You have so much ahead of you, and I'm excited about what that's going to look like for you. You are going to feel like a different person after year one, after year two, after graduation, and I can't wait to see you on that journey. I know some of you are coming to UC and many of you are going elsewhere, and that is fine. I'm happy that you're going anywhere that's going to let you pursue your dreams and your passions, and I just want to say thanks to all of you. Congratulations to the families that are here. You've raised a wonderful human being who's in this room being recognized right now. So I also want to give you a round of applause, because that's an important feat, and this time feels a little vulnerable where you've had this person under your roof in many cases for many years. I watch my 10-year-old's bus drive away before I walk away from the window. I was thinking to myself this morning, why do I do that? I know he's safe, I know he's on the bus, I know he's fine, but I also then watch the parents as they drop their students off at college for the first time and they walk away from that experience for a moment, and I just have such a heart for you, because I know that process of that next step it's overwhelming, it's daunting. There are a few who dance away. But for most of you, you're about to be in a seriously transitional year. I will tell you, you're going to be in good hands. You have been raised to be incredible human beings, responsible people, and what we all want for our sons and daughters, our college students at the end of the day, one of the greatest pleasures we get to have in this life is watching you become exactly who you are. So good luck. Bon courage, enjoy the process, and thank you.
One thing I wanted to mention, you probably have seen the camera in the back. On the counter back there is a listing of when this program is going to be shown on Waycross. So pick one up before, and there's multiple times, probably I see here 5 different times when it will be available for viewing. So with that, we'll start the presentation of the certificates. Let me get the, where to go? There we go. As I call your name, you can stand up and make your way to the podium. Basically, are going to give you everyone a little bit of an idea as to what the student has accomplished in his years at high school. Ian Davis. Ian has a class ranking of 1. He's chapter president of the National Honor Society, an Eagle Scout, over 350 hours of volunteer work, and responsible for helping $3,500 in expenditures. First and second degree black belt in Taekwondo, participated and led an in-school service group, has performed in 5 plays and musicals, and he's looking at attending SUNY Environmental Science and Forestry College. Thank you. Next is Courtney Hamilton. She's with Cincinnati Country Day High School, captain of the cheerleader team and a choir member, involved in peer counseling, received the Encouragement Award, a member of the Black Cultural Workshop, and is looking at attending Sewanee, Kenyon, or Ohio State. Rachel Mary Krause Hennessy, Mount Notre Dame High School and Cincinnati State. She has time to work 20 hours a week at the Great Wolf Lodge, has taken 6 AP classes, passed, and currently 3 more. She's a valedictorian of Mount Notre Dame and a member of the National Honor Society. She's in the Science Club, varsity academic team, and a premier ambassador, which pairs transfer students to make them welcome. She's considering Kenyon, Georgetown, Notre Dame, and Fordham. Lee Garber Ford, Taylor High School. He's a National Merit Finalist, 3rd in the nation in UB The Chemist competition, Drama Club and Theater, Math Club Regional Math League Texas Smart Camp, and Computer Science. In sports, varsity golf, community service, he's helped with baby basics in the Hamilton County Library. He's looking at University of Cincinnati, University of Alabama, Carnegie Mellon, Princeton, and Stanford. Okay. Jessica Guilfoyle. Jessica attends William Henry Harrison High School. She's treasurer of the National Honor Society, secretary of Student Council, secretary of Key Club, team captain of the cross-country team for 4 years, swimming and track teams, and intends to attend Miami University. William Jansen. William attends Elder High School. He's a member of the National Honor Society, treasurer of Student Council, president of Student Ambassador Society, secretary of the Glee Club, executive producer of Elder New Network, member of choir, and the yearbook. He's a recipient of Class Merit Awards and is looking at Miami, Ohio State, Vanderbilt, and Purdue. Daya Patel. Daya attends Princeton High School. She's a member of the National Honor Society. She's received the Rotary Award, a member of Student Council. She's in band, debate, and key club, involved in peer counseling. She's also a member of the tennis team, looking at University of Cincinnati and the Rochester Institute of Technology. Luke Schlimm. Luke is a member at LaSalle. He's an AP scholar in Spanish and English, president of the National Honor Society. He's involved in peer counseling, member of Key Club. Sports, he's in baseball. Received the principal nomination from Ohio's 1st District for the U.S. Air Force Academy and has earned a baseball roster slot. Amanda Serger. Amanda is a student at St. Ursula Academy. She's a member of the National Honor Society. She's a National Merit finalist, a STEM Club president, Ohio Junior Classic League president. In sports, she's involved in swimming, in various fundraising projects. She's president at St. Ursula and is looking at the University of West Florida. Is Stacy Surwa here? She didn't sign in and I think was not able to attend. Rebecca Seiner. Rebecca is a student at Colerain High School. She's a member of the National Honor Society. She's the historian, president of Student Council, University of Notre Dame Club of Cincinnati Book Award, scholar, athlete, Environmental Science Club, Key Club co-president. She's a member of the American Heritage Girls Growth Zone leader, I guess in her 2nd and 3rd year, and White Oak, very involved in White Oak Christian Church. In band, she plays the flute, and she's in women's golf and varsity. She's looking at Miami University. Ellie Steinberg. Ellie's a student at Mercy McCauley High School. She's a member of the National Honor Society, a National Merit finalist. She's had an AP in chemistry and trigonometry. She's a student ambassador, involved in Key Club, Philanthropy Club, a Global High School Club, and a Women's League team, a volunteer at Messor, a daycare center for adults. And she's also had time to work at Skyline Chili and Snap Fitness. She's looking at the University of Cincinnati, Butler, and Miami University. Jamari Ware. Jamari is a student at Gilbert Dater High School, National Honor Society president, very involved in career counseling, Congress of Medical Leaders Award of Excellence, marching band, jazz band, percussion, and ensemble. Class awards, he's a critical thinker, Link Project Certificate, Star Student Award, Academic Achievement Award, also a member of the German Club, Outdoor Adventure Club. He's looking at attending North Carolina, A&T State, or Central State. Mark. Harrison Warfel. Harrison is a student at Indian Hill High School, member of the National Honor Society, class officer, senior class president. In sports, he's soccer team captain, swimming, track, and ultimate frisbee. Clubs and choir, art showcased in 7 galleries, robotics, technical crew for the musical productions. He's an Eagle Scout. Also involved in his own lawn care business, babysitting, and a soccer referee to earn some funds. And he's looking at Harvard. Jillian Yates. Oak Hills High School, National Honor Society, National Merit Commended, National Community Service Merit Award. She's the volleyball team captain, track and field team captain. She's a member of the Spanish Club and is looking at going to the University of Dayton. Thank you all for attending. A couple of things that we need to acknowledge. One, we want to thank Twin Towers for allowing us to hold this event. Frankly, if it wasn't for Twin Towers, they forego their room charge, and we wouldn't probably have been able to have the event this year. Also, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department that provided the bagpiper, Jerry Fritz, for the Kiwanis clubs of the 6th and 7th Division, for Waycross Media, who are filming this event, and for Reverend Daniel Nikolic and Tara Warden, our speaker. We appreciate you all attending. We would like to continue to make this a better event, so certainly any comments, suggestions that you can give to make this a better event in future years are always appreciated. Again, thank you for attending.